If you think vampires aren't real, then Hollywood's doing its job. Hollywood wants you to believe vampires fly around wearing capes. Hollywood wants you to believe vampires' fangs leave marks on your neck. Hollywood wants you to believe vampires only come out at night. Vampires don't just reside in Hollywood. Vampires are everywhere among us. But any way you slice it, Hollywood is now and has always been an ecosystem of parasites. And when you consider the fact that a virus is not considered a living being because it is incapable of sustaining itself without a cooperative host, the parasitic nature of virality in our digital age begins to explain itself even more clearly.
Hey, Scotty. Jesus, man.
When I first began to work on this series, I started asking myself, what is Hollywood today? In 2014, living meme David A.R. White turned Tinseltown on its head when he raked in $64.7 million off a $2 million budget with God's Not Dead.
Maybe the only meaningful exposure to God and Jesus they'll ever have.
That TV's Hercules, playing an ineptly written straw man for academic secularism, debating college-age Josh Whedon.
Josh Whedon.
Or whatever.
Why do you hate God?
Would turn out to be the biggest box office draw that spring was, more than anything, an indictment that Hollywood had already become overrun with cynical Paxil zombies with their noses buried in spreadsheets and pie charts.
I can't do what you want. I'm a Christian.
The stars on Hollywood Boulevard have been deserted. The historic Chinese theater closed indefinitely. Symbols of a $100 billion industry that basically shut down overnight.
Nothing much had changed from there to the sudden shutdown of the 2020 pandemic, the ravages of which seemed to mark the beginning of the end of the film industry as we knew it.
Fresh blood.
How do you get over a breakup?
Get drunk like we're doing right now.
And then a crack baby from the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee salivated her way onto the world stage with 6 words. And 6 months later, 22-year-old Halieyweird Welch had gone from obscurity to superstardom to canceled. And while this channel was launched with a firm and explicit policy against covering e-celebrities, we're violating our own boundary for this video because, as it turns out, Haley's speed run through fame also serves as a walking tour of Hollywood in 4K as it exists in 2024 and the undead parasites who infested. Let's take a look at how the Hawk Tuah Girl exposed Hollywood's vampires. If you've heard anything more about the Hawk Tuah Girl beyond the 7-second clip that spawned her, you probably have a picture in your head of a petite young southern blonde who worked at a spring factory before fate made her an overnight sensation, and since then she's just a simple country gal doing the best she can to manage her new role as Gen Z's Dolly Parton. In spite of her notoriety being founded on a raunchy remark, she broadcasts her wholesome humbleness by refusing to participate in OnlyFans or Playboy magazine. And, sorry boys, no foot pics either. Instead, she wants to use her newfound fame and fortune to benefit animal charities because, fun fact, Haley loves dogs.
Got people out in the world that just hurt animals. It's not right.
She doesn't talk about money in interviews, but says she's made a lot of it since going viral unexpectedly.
Due to her uncanny and seamless rise to prominence, along with an apparent lack of an online footprint prior to June of 2024, many have suspected Haley Welch to be an industry plant. TikToker Domazoni claims to have seen a video of her as a 20-year-old high school student.
It even says her name in the bottom of her dancing. I saw the date on the video was 2022, and I was like, no way she's the same age as me. If you're born in July of 02, you should not be graduating in 2022. That's like class of 2020. So the Hawk Tuah Girl is a super senior, bro. Don't even try to say, oh, this is in college, because what college do you know has tennis balls in the bottom of the chairs?
But I couldn't find any corroboration outside this. One way or another, I have no proof Halieyweird Welch did not hail from Belfast, Tennessee, about an hour south of Nashville. And regardless, what is certain is that work began on creating what we've been sold as the Hawk Tuah Girl before Haley ever opened her mouth into Darius Marlowe's microphone. from her very first interview post-virality, Haliey has framed her encounter with Tim and D TV at the CMA Festival in Nashville from June 6th to 9th, 2024, as non-consensual and predatory on their part. She would have her audience believe she was under the influence and coerced into participating in salacious dialogue she would not have otherwise been comfortable with, and that she owes them nothing for exploiting her in a vulnerable state. And certainly given her efforts to distance herself from the meme she'd come to be identified with, this version of events would help support this aim.
We gonna come up to her?
You came up to her? I don't think that's how that happened.
No, that's not how that happened.
She most definitely walked across the street. We were minding our business.
In the unedited footage, Chelsea repeatedly prompts Dee to ask increasingly sexually charged questions, disappointingly cycling through several with the obvious aim of producing an over-the-top, clippable moment.
I got one more for you.
Questions. Like, you gotta make it good.
Leave a message to your last body.
My last body?
Yeah.
I miss you. Come back. Come on, you gotta get a spicy one.
You want a spicy one?
Yeah. If I see you, all right, any more?
Oh yeah. Okay, I got another one for y'all.
Okay.
Would you rather have back shots for the rest of your life or missionary for the rest of your life? You can only choose one.
Back shots.
Back shots? Why back shots?
Because I don't like somebody looking at me in my face, you know?
You don't like that eye contact?
I don't like
it's a
that.
little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's a
I'm
little
not
bit
a
too
pillow
intimate.
princess,
A little bit
you
too
get me?
intimate. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
What
I'm not
about
a
you?
pillow princess.
Wait, you gotta repeat. I'm sorry. I'm
Notably, Haliey herself displays the attention span of a goldfish through most of the footage.
Yeah, go
That
ahead.
guy's falling down.
Come on. She'll be back.
And as Chelsea fails to cultivate anything approaching charisma, repeatedly wrangles her back to salvage the moment.
You know what makes you wifey material?
Me, wifey?
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
Explain, what's everything?
I'm loyal. This is my wife. What makes me wifey material?
What makes her wifey material?
That fat you got.
For real, turn around, let me see.
You fucking lying.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time? That you do?
That I do.
Yeah. That makes a man go crazy every time.
Does not reply.
In bed, Haley.
Oh.
This is for her.
What?
You know how to answer this. You got it.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
The camera also catches Chelsea expressly telling them to post the clip.
Okay.
Tim and DTV.
All right.
You said we better post that?
Yes.
Okay.
Post it through.
For the first week or two, Hawk Tuah went organically viral after it was posted to Tim and D TV's socials. And while Haliey would have you believe she was tracked down before reluctantly embracing fame, what's far more likely is she found out the Penthouse, an LA-based music label / talent agency, happened to have set up a satellite office, the Penthouse South, in Nashville. Beyond founding a suspiciously slick talent agency boasting an anemically lean roster of clientele, would-be impresario Jonnie Forster was best known as author of the 2022 children's book The Bird and the Bee. But Forster saw Haliey as more than just a client. She would be his creation. The Donna Summer to his Giorgio Moroder, the Shania Twain to his Mutt Lange, the Celine Dion to his David Foster, or at least the Kesha to his Dr. Luke. And from the go, Jonnie Forster's creation would also be a reality show, as tightly choreographed as anything on TLC.
What?
You know how to answer this. You got it.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Chelsea Bradford had been Haliey's original puppeteer and as such assumed herself to be indispensable. But while she was kept in the cast and would continue to portray Haliey's sidekick, her immutable negative riz left her largely in the background and otherwise demoted to one of several handlers. Blinded by the prospect of having their hands on a white-hot asset in the moment, the team set aside due diligence and put their faith in Haliey Welch's yet untested star power. Haliey made her public debut following the explosion of Hawk Tuah during a brief appearance on stage with country star Zach Bryan at the Nissan Auditorium in Nashville on June 29th. In conjunction with this was an interview for then-girlfriend Brianna Chicken Fry LaPaglia's podcast, Plan Brie, where Haliey begins to attempt to redefine herself by proclaiming she was coerced into recording the infamous soundbite and misled by Tim and Dee as to where it would be posted.
I want to go back to the night of it all, the Hook to a video. You're out drinking after a night with your friends. You get asked, what is something crazy you do in bed?
Oh, yeah.
Hook to
He only told us he was a YouTuber. He never said anything like about, Instagram, TikTok, nothing of the sort. So I was like, oh, well, I'm never going to see this again.
So just so y'all know, before anybody is in a video, we let them know, yes, it's for YouTube. Yep. Y'all subscribe.
We are YouTubers.
But we tell them it's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that. That's exactly what we say.
Sure enough, I seen it again.
When did you see it again? Like, when did it blow up?
So that was Sunday. I seen it about the Tuesday. After that, I should have bricked.
Hawk Tuah was just an offhand joke, but that's not what Haley Welch is about.
It was funny.
I was being a little bit of a smartass too. Cause you're going to come up to me with a microphone and ask me something like that. Oh, well, I'm going to Hawk Tuah and spit on it, I don't mean nothing by it.
Yeah, you were like actually being serious. Oh, yeah. You were just joking.
Yeah,
and your friend was there with you.
Yes, ma'am, she was.
And she's here. Do we want to ask her about it too?
Best as LaPaglia tries to force the conversation along. The two clearly hit a wall all of 7 minutes into the podcast, and Chelsea's brought in for what appears to be her unscheduled debut as the second banana.
Which I wasn't prepared for those kind of questions. So
I don't think anybody was.
Yeah. I wasn't in the right mind.
What do you think she should do now? Like, do you think she should just take full advantage of it?
Oh, absolutely. I love her personality and the fact that the world gets to see it.
But beyond puffing up her former ventriloquist doll, Chelsea adds little to the moment.
She just Hawk. You're Hawk Tuah.
Oh, yeah, I'm just Hawk. Maybe just to.
And the situation devolves into lighthearted banter over the very meme she was trying to outlive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I have a game that I want to play with you guys.
What is that? Makes me nervous.
It's not that scary, I promise. It's called Hawk Tuah or Nah. And you tell me if you want to Hawk Tuah on that thing or no.
Before fizzling out after 13 minutes. One noteworthy moment while playing Hawk or No Hawk was when the two split over whether or not they would hawk Jake Paul. Haley disclosing that she would, in fact, Hawk Tuah on the controversial social media influencer.
Jake Paul.
No, I'm happy to say Hawk.
Hawk?
I'm
Yeah?
happy to say Hawk.
You said no?
I don't know. No, it's going to be a no for me.
Okay.
Ask and ye shall receive, Haley. But first, the Penthouse team recognized their product still needed considerable polishing. So far, Haley was hardly shaping up to be influencer material. But at a minimum, Jonnie Forster had already begun to line up a few paying gigs. Her first paid appearance was as host and judge of the Dare Bikini Contest at the Seminole Hard Rock Cafe in Fort Lauderdale. According to TMZ, Haley received $30,000 for the appearance, adding that this was likely the reason she appeared to be so overwhelmed. At the event, she remarked to MSN that she'd established her own corporation, 16 Minutes LLC. On July 13th, she was paid to host a pop-up at the trendy Memory Motel in New York, along with 2 other undisclosed appearances. Meanwhile, Rolling Stone released an article on July 11th titled, "We Had Lunch with Hawk Tuah Girl, the National Hero We Need." Launched in 1967 as a rock music rag, Rolling Stone had always regarded itself as something slightly more serious than its pop counterpart 16 magazine. But I, for my part, cannot possibly accept that this painfully artificial endeavor was anything more than a press release written by Jonnie Forster himself. Of course, one could speculate that veteran TV guide writer Joseph Hudak was going for some kind of Neo-Hunter S. Thompson gonzo journalism in his piece, and with enough psychedelics and stimulants in his system, managed to hallucinate this especially egregious passage. Here was a giggling, smiling, fresh-faced farm girl describing oral sex without a hint of sexuality, in the same aw-shucks manner that a certain beloved country music legend makes jokes about her boobs. While she may not sing or write songs, the Hawk Tuah Girl, as she's come to be known, exudes the charm and magnetism of a Gen Z Dolly Parton. A far more plausible explanation is that Forster planted this blurb to highlight another fabricated facet of Haley Welch that would hopefully define her persona beyond Hawk Tuah, her lifelong love of animals. And by sheer coincidence, on July 12th, the day after the article was published, Haley posted a highly produced TikTok of her going on a shopping spree at PetSmart to donate to Mount Juliet Animal Care and Control. And coincidence of all coincidences, supporting animal shelters and related charitable works just so happens to be well known to be Dolly Parton's long-standing passion too.
Do you really, Hawk Tuah, or were you just having a laugh there?
I was just having a laugh there.
So you're not a spitter? Yes or no? No.
I've had a few messages wanting toe pictures.
Wanting what? Hoe pictures?
toe pics, like of my feet.
Of your feet? What's with blokes loving feet? Do you understand the...
No, I don't understand it. It's disgusting.
Do you have it?
The more interviews she began to grant, the clearer it was becoming to anyone willing to see that Haley fundamentally lacked much of any magnetism as a personality. But ready or not, the next stop was LA, where her brand new ready-made Hollywood life was waiting.
Yes, go ahead. Any advice you need from Haktua Girl? She's in our studios right now.
Yeah, I wanted to know, Haley, if you think I should break up with my boyfriend of almost 8 years because the relationship is not moving forward. Like, he's not moving it along.
Are you still happy with him?
Yeah, on our good days, we're really happy, but I'm not happy with where the relationship is, and it isn't progressing.
Maybe talk to him about it first and see what he thinks, and then make your decision.
Okay, if you were going to decide, what would you do?
I'd talk to him and see how he felt, and if he felt the same way, then I'm going to split.
You're out. You're out.
Now, if he thinks y'all can save it and fix it and make it better, then do that.
What Jonnie Forster really had planned was to turn her into the Jake Paul influencer ecosystem, the world's premier cesspool of cynical cash grabs.
Drip versus stick. I like my cheese drippy, bruh.
Fuck you.
Yeah! Forster hedged his bet that Haley Welch would blossom as a personality of her own beyond Haktua by marketing her to the one demographic he knew was likely to embrace her. One of the last remaining refuges of unchecked female objectification, barstool sports, and online gambling.
Okay, Dave Portnoy.
Know who that is?
Yes, you don't know who he is?
I do. You do. Oh, he's going to hate you.
If I knew what he looked like, maybe.
I'm going to say Hawk just so
What does he
don't
look
roast
like?
me.
Do you want me to show you a picture?
Yes, I need a picture. I'll give him a hawk. I'll give him a hawk.
Okay, beautiful.
And so a deal had been struck for a podcast that would be sponsored by Paul's gambling app Better and cross-promoted as her reality show became absorbed into the Paulverse. To get Haley better prepared for host duties, towards the end of July, she appeared on a handful of podcasts with more established entertainers from the legacy media sphere. Now, one way to spot a vampire in Hollywood is when their career success and longevity seems wildly disproportionate to their talent or depth. It's worth noting the world of stand-up comedy, a world driven first and foremost by favoritism, seems to support these, at best, fully interchangeable, and often downright carcinogenic celebrity figures no one seems to have asked for.
I know that you guys laughed, and if anyone says this isn't good, they're judging you. Like, I went all over the country, I went everywhere.
If you wanted to find the quintessential pick-me girl, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better embodiment of her official slogan, "I'm not like other girls," than Whitney Ann Cummings.
Go vote early, because you know what, something could come up on November 4th. Like on November 3rd, you could get roofied, okay? If you're lucky. And the next day you might not wake up to get to the polls. Do you see what I'm saying? And then you're just a bad American and I won't like you.
Whitney Cummings, and you're on Punk'd.
I am.
Cummings got her start in show business in 2004 when she joined the cast of Punk'd, hosted by bestie to both Danny Masterson and P. Diddy, Ashton Kutcher.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over Punk'd.
She got a break in the 2011 pilot season, when not one but two networks decided to take a chance on the unproven comedian that fall. She hitched her wagon to veteran Sex and City director Michael Patrick King to sell Two Broke Girls to CBS, which aired for 5 seasons. Meanwhile, she'd somehow managed to sell NBC on the notion she was a marketable personality and convinced them to greenlight her own starring vehicle. But the debut of Whitney on September 22nd was panned savagely by critics and audiences alike and quickly retooled to take the focus away from the star and towards a Friends-esque ensemble cast. Nonetheless, Whitney limped along for 2 seasons before vanishing from our collective memory altogether.
I can't get enough of you. You are a star.
Well, thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, I just can't get enough of you.
Well, I'll tell you something about the Japanese. They will eat anything.
Bill Maher's Hollywood bona fides amounted to starring in a one-season wonder in 1985 called Sarah, and the direct-to-video classic Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death in 1989.
Women today are just not the way I thought they'd be.
In 1993, he began hosting Politically Incorrect on Comedy Central, where he used the panel show format to elevate himself by surrounding himself with people who had more talent, intellect, and name recognition. The show moved to ABC in 1997, and Maher became a cause celeb among the limousine liberal set after an indelicate and too soon 9/11 joke resulted in its cancellation. But once George W. Bush was out of office, 52-year-old Bill Maher was left with a perpetual midlife crisis and no foil, and spent the next 15 years sliding into a nauseatingly smug, boozy, and lecherous iteration of get-off-my-lawn enlightened centrism. Having decayed to the point he has all the personality of a dry bowl of oatmeal, Bill Maher makes more money than ever hosting Real Time on HBO, along with headlining engagements at hotel casinos across the country. Haley's July 28th appearance on Maher's podcast Club Random presents itself as a mentoring session, but the creepiness that oozes off a drunken Maher would overshadow any semblance of altruism towards a young up-and-comer from a wise elder.
You're Haley. You've morphed into this, it was great. The origin story, it was great. That was the ashes from which your phoenix rose from, and you can't go back.
If there's one person in entertainment whose success has always confounded me, it's one Howard Michael Mandel. To me, even his choice to use Howie for a professional name struck me as try-hard. Yet in the 80s, Howie Mandel was everywhere, having seemingly slipped in among the wave of spastic high-energy comics that were fashionable at the time.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
On top of performing alongside the era's biggest stand-up comics, Mandel seemed prepared to take any voice work that Frank Welker wasn't available for. He did off-camera voicing for both Gremlins films as well as the first 2 seasons of The Muppet Babies for CBS, before selling his own original animated series, Bobby's World, to Fox Kids, where it aired from 1990 to 1998. Mandel remained a household name by riding the game show revival wave at the dawn of Y2K, building off the success of primetime hits Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and The Weakest Link as host of NBC's less intellectual, more odds-based Deal or No Deal in 2005. The next year, he was a panelist on NBC's American Idol clone America's Got Talent, where all that was required to sustain himself off the personalities around him was to remain inoffensive.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. Go sit in the orange.
Sit in the orange.
Sit in the orange.
Okay.
He's going to propose. Move the mic closer to you.
You got a ring pop?
Mandel's co-host on How He Does Stuff was also his daughter. 40-year-old Jacqueline Schultz had inherited 2 things from her father: a mostly inoffensive but astonishingly unremarkable personality mixed with a compulsive try-hard nature.
Hi.
We're playing darts.
Nice.
Daddy got her as much work as his clout could muster, but nothing approaching a real career in entertainment was on the horizon. So, like nearly every Nepo baby and trust fund brat in SoCal, she tried her hand at becoming an influencer.
All right, so I just got these viral TikTok leggings in the mail that are supposed to make your butt look incredible.
Jacqueline got married on July 20th, 2013. A January 4th, 2024 article in People magazine describes her husband as DJ Alex Schultz, who goes professionally by Lex Larson.
Alex, you can't leave me now because we're married.
You're the bride, right? Yeah, and talk about how beautiful tonight was.
I have urine all over my chin.
What's up, guys? It's Jacqueline Schultz here, and I am back with another review. Today is actually a really special review. I have a special guest, my husband, who I can never convince to do any videos with me, not even like my family vlog channel. So I am very surprised that you are doing this video with me.
You got me.
I got you.
How did you get me?
Because I let you buy this product. As long as I get to.
What I always wanted to get that I've never gotten?
This product?
This looks like we're about to film a porn, honestly.
Alexander Larson Schultz was a nobody who wanted to be a somebody, and the title of his 2012 collab with Yeah Boy under the name Doc Hollywood sums up Schultz's perception of himself and his shallow aspirations. We run LA. An inveterate starfucker through and through, Schultz put a ring on the first woman who would have him that had any proximity to fame.
Alex, can you come here? Can you get Abby some milk?
What the hell? Your ass ate your pants, Jackie. You should do something about that.
If I were a gem, what would I be? Like gemstone?
I don't know any.
You don't know any?
Not one.
All right, I just explained what a gem is. What am I?
Granite.
The flex of Howie Mandel's son-in-law turned out to be enough to prop up his run as a music industry professional. His EDM trio, the Americanos, had some success in 2015 when their track Blackout, featuring Lil Jon, Juicy J, and Tyga, made its way onto a couple film soundtracks.
If I were a car, what would I be?
A Toyota Corolla.
Why?
Very dependable.
Meanwhile, with Daddy Mandel seeing to it that their growing family would want for none, Schultz was free to indulge his growing passion for cryptocurrency. A self-described early adopter, Schultz was the stereotype of the dude at every party over the last 10 years, obnoxiously hyping up crypto to anyone who lets him.
You know, NFTs from the music business, looking at it like a different type of asset, a way for artists and fans to connect. And we were super early in 2020. And just have fun building in the community and do different types of things. I'm not a maxi in anything. I think there's all these great applications out there, and try to figure out what that best home for it is. But I'm super excited what we're building on Solana.
But Schultz was also a compulsive networker who'd made a number of inroads in showbiz.
And just really focused on bringing new IP and brands and different projects to bring in like more new users to Solana. That's why it's like I've got such a collaborative attitude, because if it doesn't matter what Solana project wins, if one Solana project wins, we all win.
He began working under his Doc Hollywood moniker on some new projects aimed to monetize fame on a new level: celebrity tokens, alternately referred to as meme coins, crypto coins centered entirely around celebrities. Jenner, based on Caitlyn Jenner, would become the target of a lawsuit in November after buyers alleged they were misled into investing in an unregulated security. As of December 15th, 2024, according to Coinbase, Jenner currently trades at 0.000350 USD. Iggy Azalea's token Mother hit its peak trading value of 22 cents USD in June, and as of this writing is down 70.55% at 5.67 cents USD. Dextool.io has Trippie Red's coin Bando at 0.000143 USD. And Coinbase has Davido at 0.00004327. In each instance, it shouldn't take an expert in cryptocurrency or finance to see who made the most money.
All right, I have to leave because my husband is here with Haley. So I have to run home since my mom is with the kids. My husband is here with Haley.
As Ryan Atwood on the OC, Ben McKenzie was the fish out of water in Southern California at its most superficial, plucked from a toxic living environment in economically distressed Chino, and adopted by bleeding heart Orange County social climbers Sandy and Kirsten Cohen.
So, what do you think of Newport?
I think I could get in less trouble where I'm from.
Chino? Ew.
Ryan navigated the world of the pretty people with nothing but disdain for the materialism, classism, and two-facedness that presented itself as superiority.
You know what I like about rich kids? Nothing.
These days, actor Ben McKenzie is taking on a different role as an outspoken critic of cryptocurrency and the volatile market he says is driven completely by speculation.
Before becoming an actor, Ben McKenzie had earned a degree in economics from the University of Virginia, and by 2021 had stepped back from acting to work with journalist and 2012 three-time Jeopardy champion Jacob Silverman. In 2023, they published their expose, Easy Money, Cryptocurrency, Casino Capitalism, and the Golden Age of Fraud. Following the collapse of FTX in 2022, Ben was invited to testify at a congressional hearing where he was the lone voice of criticism against simps like Kevin O'Leary, who insisted blockchain really did have valid use case scenarios, maybe some We're down the road somehow, and that regulation is the key.
Saying if you know your client rules on both sides of the transaction and use a crypto such as USDC that is regulated, you solve this problem, Senator, overnight.
Well, it's really interesting. When you talk to the 80+% of the country that has not bought cryptocurrency, they almost always say the same thing. You know, I've been traveling around the country and the world talking about this with lots of different people, from Sam Bankman-Fried himself all the way down to, regular investors. But when I talk to people who haven't bought crypto, they always say the same thing, or almost always. They say, I don't really understand it, but it seems kind of scammy. And I say, no, you got it.
Today, I'm happy to announce the launch of my Paws Across America Fund. Our mission is to bring awareness, advocacy, and financial assistance to animal charities within the United States. I'm starting in my hometown shelter, and it went a little something like this.
On August 29th, ahead of the launch of the Talk to a podcast, powered by Better, Haley announced she had fulfilled her lifelong dream after founding her animal charity organization, Haley Welch's Paws Across America, not to be confused with Paws Across America, an advocacy outfit that was most active from 1998 to 2003, but still maintains a website. So what is Haley Welch's Paws Across America, and what do they do? On their website, the closest thing to a mission statement I can see is that they bring awareness, advocacy, and financial assistance to animal charities within the U.S. Okay, so how? Welch aims to make a significant difference in the lives of countless animals in need. Okay, but how? Every donation to the fund is tax receipted and will be used to directly support animal shelters and rescue organizations across the country. While you might assume this means funds are redirected to organizations in need, anyone versed in weasel words knows full well that directly support can mean all sorts of things. Until I'm provided with confirmation otherwise, I have every reason to believe Haley Welch's Paws Across America is set up to support animal charities by bringing awareness and advocacy by way of the star power of Haley Welch. And when fame is your currency, what better use could there be than to feature yourself visiting shelters in need on your socials? Put differently, Haley Welch's Paws Across America is a sham nonprofit that exists to solicit tax-deductible donations that are then used to cover Haley's various expenses. Before I started writing this, I'd half heard online chatter about her making donations to other nonprofits as high as $100,000. But I'll be damned if I can find a single news report or press release of Haley making a direct donation to anyone since her PetSmart shopping spree in July. If she has it all, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to learn it was to her own charity and paying herself out of it on the back end. Adding to the confusion, I have yet to locate any indication of a 501c3 or 4 nonprofit having been established. The bottom of the website states Copyright 16 Minutes LLC, her expressly for-profit corporation. Now, the website does note that Haley Welch's Paws Across America was in partnership with Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, a legitimate nonprofit who serves a wide range of needs in the region.
As a bee seeks food for its hive, it carries pollen, causing orchards to bear fruit and trees to flower. Likewise, the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, as it fulfills its mission, cross-pollinates, connecting generosity with need across 40 counties in this region. In the hive, one cell supports another, which supports another, until the hive is strong enough to support its entire population. Similarly, the Community Foundation has created a philanthropic infrastructure that is growing to support the needs of our entire community.
So I reached out to them for some clarification. I also asked them about a crypto token which was being promoted as affiliated with Haley Welch's Paws Across America. Though in all fairness, this may well be a flagrant third-party scam. Both the Haley Welch's Paws Across America website and Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee's include the statement, albeit in fine print, be aware of potential scams in the marketplace requesting Bitcoin or anything of that nature from Haley, her team, or Paws Across America. I was able to get in touch with Rondell Richardson, Senior Entertainment and Donor Relations Liaison for Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, who was very helpful in answering as many of my questions as he was able to. He He wasn't able to speak on the matter of the Paws coin himself, only that neither the foundation nor the donors formally endorse any cryptocurrencies. Because the IRS requires a dollar valuation on charitable giving, CFMT requires any gifts must first be liquidated into U.S. currency. Haley Welch's Paws Across America is classified under IRS code as a component fund, one of 1,700 CFMT currently manages. Basically, a celebrity puts their name on what's called a donor-advised fund, operated by the nonprofit. The donor, in this case the celebrity soliciting the funds, directs where the funds go. By law, no individual can be paid from a donor-advised fund, and Richardson stated no one on Haley's team is compensated in any way. I didn't press him any further on compensation versus operational costs, but I was curious if we could expect to see where this money went in public filings. Richardson clarified that animal nonprofits have to be registered with the IRS to receive grants from the fund, but that donors otherwise have the option, by law, to keep recipients confidential. Richardson stated he'd forwarded my questions about the Paws coin to Haley's team to address. I reiterated this request again, but as of posting this, no response.
I like my cheese drippy, bro. I like my cheese drippy, bro. So good. Let's start the podcast. Do you want to make $50,000 on the biggest fight of the year? The Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight is finally here, and Better is giving you a chance to win up to $50,000. Welcome back to Talk Tua.
The Talk Tua podcast, powered by Better, debuted September 10th. Early headlines of the show being the third highest ranking podcast on Spotify, behind Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson, were amplified to give the impression that little Haley Welch, the chrysalis, have emerged from the cocoon of Hawk Tua. But despite pulling out all the stops, trying to mold it into the style of the Paul brothers, complete with clickbait thumbnails with misleading titles, implying drama that doesn't exist, and incessant forced efforts to manifest moments to clip for YouTube shorts, few who tuned in out of curiosity had the stomach to stick around for longer than a few minutes. By November 14th, it was reported that the Talk Tua podcast, powered by Better, had dropped off Spotify's top 100 podcast chart. Of note, episode 10, which premiered November 12th, featured the much-hyped reveal of Haley's mysterious boyfriend Pookie, aka plumber Kelby Blackwell. Some have speculated if it wasn't the on-screen appearance of a love interest that dissolved her appeal to her core fan base of burgeoning young gambling addicts and horny middle-aged divorcees who up to now had objectified her as a sort of automaton who existed solely to enthusiastically service them.
Haley, I want to know, what's the girl version of Hawk Tua? What, you told us how to please a guy. What's the opposite version?
Oh my goodness. That's an interesting question.
How to please a woman.
Right. What would be the male equivalent of a Hawk Tua spit on that thing? Now, I should know that, but I unfortunately got nothing.
It's really easy to please a woman. All you got to do is just be a decent man.
But is there
We're not hard to please.
Alongside the reveal of Pookie came the launch of Pookie Tools, an app that charged $7.99 a month to provide AI-generated dating advice in the persona of Hawk Tua Girl.
For a cocktail date at a bar, you want to strike the right balance between stylish and relaxed. Here are some outfit ideas. It gave me 5 styles, yeah? Classic, casual, trendy, edgy, and preppy.
While Welch is not the first content creator to launch an app, it's rare for someone to do it so early in their career, which could signal creators are becoming anxious about the sustainability of their success.
So after I saw Michael Saylor speak at the Bitcoin conference, I have decided to start putting some money into crypto, and I just want to say, oh my God, thank you so much, Mr. Saylor. Okay, y'all, drop your Solana wallets. I'm giving out some meme coins for free, coming to you December 4th. My Hawk meme coin is live!
Crystal is a Hawk Tua coin.
Oh my God.
She apparently was pumping.
I
don't know. Look, I am pro.
Look, you kind of have to admire this lady for the way she's capitalized on her 10 minutes. What is it? Fortune favors the brave.
Oh, that's crypto.com. That's not to be confused.
I know, but I'm just saying that's like the ethos.
This Hawk Tua thing. And it's like, how many rug pulls do we go through?
I know.
Through 2020. How many? And people are still doing it. The token for Hawk Tua hit $500 million. That's how much people pumped in.
It's almost like a lotto ticket, right?
Yeah.
It's that's what it feels. It's gambling. It's not any different really than the sports betting thing. It taps into that same sense of like, this at least gives me a chance.
I suppose it's possible Haley had been hoodwinked into genuinely believing that launching a meme coin would, on some level, connect to the Hawktua community. It's pretty abundantly clear what Alex Schultz had in mind, given that past behavior is often the best predictor. And no doubt he'd been swarming her for some time with the same melange of crypto jargon and corporate doublespeak he exhibited throughout the Twitter, now X, Spaces event the team hosted to address the calamity of the launch of Hawk, which immediately spiked to a $500 million valuation upon launch, before dropping 95% within an hour. But aside from nervously rattling off a brief script clearly written by Schultz,
Hey y'all, it's Haley, and I just want to say thank you for joining my space, and I also want to thank you for my 15,000 holders. We got snipe botted today, but we didn't sell a single token. This is just a launch, and I want to tell you I'm here to stay. The plan is to give these coins to my real fans, the ones that buy my merch, watch my podcast, donate to my charity. And I also wanted to tell you that I learned a lot along the way, but I just want to say screw the sniper bots, and I'm not going anywhere.
Haley's biggest contribution to the conversation was to snap at CoffeeZilla, widely considered to be the Chris Hansen of internet scams.
And I only do this for a living. I've only seen 1 million of these projects.
I have questions. I have questions. I'm raising my hand. Hey, guys.
What CoffeeZilla?
Hey, this is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, then why the fuck are you on?
I just got muted.
And an equally impatient response to FaZe Bank's attempt to encourage her to do the professional thing and throw her team under the bus.
Whoever guided you in this, or whoever directed you to do this, or gave you the advice to do this, you should fire them immediately. And, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to jump in here.
Yeah, I'm doing the best I can. Thank you, FaZe.
The unnamed representative from Over Here, the platform created exclusively to sell Hawk, repeatedly prompts Haley to chime in before she half-heartedly assures listeners she's just here to have fun and not going anywhere.
Yeah, I think that maybe it'd be helpful for the community to kind of hear, Haley's story, because ultimately, like everybody resonates with Hawktua as a meme. It's like one of the most viral memes of all time. I think maybe it'd be helpful. I don't know if Haley's comfortable sharing the kind of original story, and I think of how things went, and and I think I think it'd just be useful for color if Haley was able to kind of share a little bit about that original story, because I think it helps kind of paint the picture here a little bit of she's done a lot of cool stuff around like charity and I think she really cares about dogs and stuff like that, and I think I don't know if Haley, that's something you're comfortable sharing with the community, or if you feel like it's a little bit too sensitive, or how you feel about that. But I definitely think that it's helpful for the community to have that color.
Yeah, guys, I'm just here to have fun. I don't really have a full head wrapped around this whole thing, but I'm figuring it out every day, and I'm here for the long term. My skin's getting thicker every day, and the hate's not going to stop me. I'm here every day trying to work on this and get better at it, but I'm not going anywhere.
Then another participant, Nick, begins to press them on incentives to divert operational costs of a team required to create digital monopoly money.
Over Here has around 18 people working on this right now as we speak.
Towards expenses like, say, first-class travel, for instance.
Like, I run a business as well, and I have operational costs, and it's cool when, like, for example, those operational costs, for example, afford me to go fly somewhere internationally first class, for example. I'm just using this as an example. So there's like an incentive for someone who's like operating a business.
After having stayed silent for over 15 minutes, something about this particular line of question inspires Haley to suddenly cut Nick off mid-sentence and announce to everyone that she's going to bed.
There's fees that are being generated. There's an actual
Hey
source
guys,
of income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm going to go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay. I guess we're talking over here, and I don't know if,
After December 10th came and went without seeing an episode 14 of the Talk to a podcast, powered by Better, the first time the program had missed an upload schedule, the general consensus was that the Hawktua Girl show was canceled. If she is somehow brazen enough to try for a comeback, her apology video may well somehow outdo Colleen Ballinger's. Don't be surprised if someone in the Paul brothers orbit is working on exactly that as I write this.
So
He's a
everything
little
has just
offended.
been made up.
Oh yeah, like none of
Okay.
it's true at all.
I'll leave it to you to decide which vampire was the one that got to Haley Aileen Welch and when her conversion was complete. Or was she a vampire herself all along? Like I said, vampires don't just reside in Hollywood. Vampires are everywhere among us. And more often than not, we have no clue until well after we've invited them into our home. Stay safe out there.
Right there. Oh yeah, that little blonde. That was good. Here. Can't be any worse than type R blood. That's terrible. That stuff could kill you.
Thanks for watching.